The big news in the NBA this week centers around James Harden and his future. Just about every basketball show, every pod, it's the top of the top of the top. They've talked about, does Harden actually want to be in Philadelphia? No, he does not. Does he prefer the city of Philadelphia over the city of Brooklyn? No, he does not. Is it real? Is it smoke and mirrors? As with most things with James Harden, I don't actually know what to believe because I've spoken to people that I actually trust, and they say it's real, potentially. That James Harden's hasn't had a great go since he arrived in Brooklyn. Things haven't exactly gone how his mind's eye believed that they might be. What I do know, though, is this. Chris Haynes broke some news on his podcast that makes this entire scenario even more complicated. This is what he said. There's another player we're going to add to this dynamic with James Harden. His name is Michael Rubin. For those who don't know, Michael Rubin, the Sixers co-owner, is, quote, very, very, very good friends. All three of those varies are written with James Harden. Three varies. Very, very, very good friends with James Harden, which means they probably exchange texts all the time. Probably talk on FaceTime video all the time. And he says, furthermore, I've been talking to a rival owner, talking to a rival front office executive who believes that there can be some talk right now going on between both sides. Ruh-roh. That's what we call tampering. That's tampering. Shh, that's tampering. That's against the rules. That's not okay. That's no, you don't do that. That's not what we do until February. No. Because guess what? That means big trouble. It's like when my dog eats some random chicken bone on the street. You know you're not supposed to do that, Emma. Don't do that. That's a no. That's a no. That's a no, Ruben. That's a big no. You know you're not supposed to talk to James about free agency decisions until July. And it's made it even worse because James Harden doesn't have an agent right now, which is bizarre on its own front. So why is this a problem? Some front office executives, according to Chris Haynes, are prepared to, quote, when the time comes, if a deal does look like it's about to transpire where there could be a potential sign and trade in the offseason, they are prepared to get the league involved on a potential collusion case dating back to what they think and believe could be going on right now. You know why we're talking and hearing a lot of people, Philadelphia, James Harden talk. I was told that there will be complaints issued to the league to try to investigate to see if there was any collusion. Yikes. Last time this happened, Bulls, Heat, second round picks forfeited. Yep. So here's the bottom line. I don't think they're going to get Michael Rubin's phone, first of all. I don't know how they're going to prove this. Yes, Harden has a friendship with Michael Rubin, one of the Sixers owners. Yes, James Harden has a pre-existing relationship with Daryl Morey, who is his former GM in Houston. Yes, Harden does seem to be frustrated with the Nets organization. Can you blame him? Kyrie's never there. Kevin Durant's now out. He's fat. I don't know. But none of that means that James Harden is going a place. Think to yourself, if you're an adult right now and you're not a little kid listening to this podcast, how often have you been frustrated with your employer? How often you're like, I'm going to get the fuck up out of here. And then 2, 3, 4 years later, you're like, fuck, I don't have a better place to go. That's the case here with my man James Harden. So by definition, Woj reported also that the Nets aren't even entertaining any offers for James Harden, despite the fact that Chris is convinced that there's a Simmons and Maxey plus picks deal for Harden on the table that the Nets have said no to. So by definition, this means that Morey's only way to get what he perceives as the appropriate value for Ben, a.k.a. James or Dame or Beal or Jaylen Brown, it's going to have to be in the summer. It's not going to be in the next 2 weeks. But then Daryl Morey says that he thinks he has a deal on the table in the next 2 weeks, which means it's not James. So it's very confusing. It's all very astounding. It's all very intriguing. And it's all smoke and mirrors. And that means Ben Simmons is probably not going to play basketball for the foreseeable future. As we said about the Kings pulling out of any deal with Daryl, the Sixers are 10 games over 500 in an injury-plagued East. They are 2 games out of first place, which is fucking wild. Joel Embiid is averaging over 30 a game the last 10 games and single-handedly is rescuing a dog shit season. I really do want to say this for Sixer fans. Like, I feel for you. I really would hate to see the Sixers get to a Game 7 in the playoffs and you guys lose because you have a GM who is so arrogant and so egotistical, he just keeps Ben Simmons on the roster for no fucking reason. Would hate to see it. Would hate to see it.